So let me get this straight. We have a dementia patient running our country who is currently going through a temper tantrum because he is going to lose the midterms and be out of power, which means he will be sent to prison. So his temper tantrum response is to create a war so he can stay in power. The same war that he warned us that he was going to create if he was having issues with the midterms. News fucking flash, the second that a president violates the Constitution or breaks the law, that is enough for them to get kicked the fuck out. Didn't y'all have beef with the president because he was disloyal to his wife because he was cheating on her? There was absolute public outrage for a civil matter. But now we're having federal. The two big T's. And nothing. Silence. Congress and the House of Representatives, anybody who has a standing to help in this situation has a stick up their ass and they can't move. This individual might be our current placeholder, our current piece of fucking flesh that is representing this country, but let's not get it confused. A president is never as important or has as much power as the Constitution, as our laws. Nobody, absolutely nobody, is supposed to be above the law. We have laws that cannot be federally regulated because they are our birth rights. As a country, we run on checks and balances. We have 3 checks to go through. 1, the vote. 2, state convention. And 3, the people, not the president. Let's not confuse the Constitution with the Declaration of Independence. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. It is their right, it is their duty to overthrow such government. In the Federalist Papers, the men who wrote the Constitution explained how citizens should react to the government that betrays them, and I'll explain that to you. Let's talk about Article 5. If a minimum of 34 states come together and agree to call for a convention of states, this means that they temporarily, essentially, become Congress, and Congress can do nothing about it. And later on down the line, they cannot reverse anything that the states have done because it is the states' responsibilities to come forward as a next step of government. James Madison argued that the federal government could truly never conquer the people because Americans are armed because of our Second Amendment and have state governments they can use as headquarters for resistance. He called this the ultimate barrier against tyranny because the states are responsible for creating militia. Alexander Hamilton wrote that if elected officials betray the people, the citizens have a resource left, the original right of self-defense, which sits above all laws. Which means this is our birthright and it cannot be controlled by said government. Because we, the people, are in charge of who is in this government, who we allow in. And if they fuck up, it's our responsibility to take them back out. We will give you this job, but don't fuck it up. You fucked it up. You're out of a job. Oh, you don't want to leave? You're trespassing at this point. Get the fuck out. And that's what is supposed to happen. In the 1960s, there was a time where we were this close to a state's convention. We were just 1 vote away. But this act, this sheer act, before it can even be completed, Congress folded and they accommodated to the states. This last fix to go to the states before total anarchy happens and we have to force a president out is supposed to be used when the federal government becomes too corrupt or unresponsive to fix itself. The Constitution provides a specific emergency exit method. Now let me remind you, the Founding Fathers do not want total anarchy. They do not want this done in violence, but they do understand if it does come to that point. That being said, they want, they demand, they need, they require, and our nation requires. It is a born right for us to stand up, and it is a requirement for the states to step in. When our government is failing, the states are now our new government. Hamilton said, fuck around and find out. He said, quote, if the representatives of the people betray their constitution, then there is no resource left but in the exertion of the original right of self-defense, which is paramount to all positive forms of government. In modern terms, fuck around and find out. Madison wants us to be more loyal to our states than the federal. Because at the end of the day, if federal collapses, if something goes down, backbone, state then takes over. And if something happens to the state, we are on our own. It is up to us to rebuild the nation. This is verbatim, quote, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the ultimate check and balance. Us. I am not a spokesperson for any movement, but I will say this. What the fuck did you think the American Revolution was for? What do you think the natural birthright to have a revolution is for? We have that right for a reason. Madison was worried about this. He was worried about a government that is completely centralized would be too large and too unresponsive, aka they would get too big of a head. They would have too much power. No placeholder that is representing my nation will ever be more important than my founding fathers, my constitution, and my nation and my fucking people. Because that's what our real duty is. To keep each other happy, healthy, safe, and stable. Baby, they've been failing us for years, before my time. The temper tantrum is pathetic. If the people had a backbone, then we can use his own fucking phrasing on him. You're fired.